good morning. Welcome to Wednesday and Family Time Devotions. We're glad you're with us this morning. A couple of things we want to touch right before we jump into our study, and that is what's coming this Sunday.
So the Lord's Supper will be this Sunday, and we mentioned this on Monday. Yesterday we had an opportunity for people to come by between 1 and 2 and pick up the elements. I have, again, the juice here, but we're going to do that again tomorrow from 1 to 2. You can just drive by the church. We'll give you however many you need. If 1 to 2 tomorrow will not work out for you, please just call the church and we can work out other arrangements. We won't, we realize a portion of our church is still not going to be here Sunday. We're going to watch online, but we want you to be able to take part in the Lord's Supper if you'd like to do that.
Yeah, and actually when you pick this up, it's not just the juice, but the wafers on top. So it's fully intact, everything you'll need for the Lord's Supper. We'd love for you to get that and participate with us. It's such a significant thing. The other thing we need to discuss is registration. We're signing up for the services. I went to our website the other day trying to find the link in, and I had a hard time finding it. What's the direct thing you type in?
I wish Jason was doing this with you instead I'm doing it.
Jason's the computer.
I can't remember the exact, but I know if you go there, there's you can if you search on the website, you can find it. But it's real important now. We ask our people to do that again this week. Going forward, we're not going to continue to do this forever, but we are going to continue to do it for now because we really need to make sure we're practicing social distancing. So we want to make sure our services are kind of equally split. And our numbers are not nearly as high right now as they were last week. So that kind of tells us a lot of people have not pre-registered yet.
Yeah.
So we ask you to go, just take a moment to go to our church website to pre-register for the 9 a.m. or the 10:30 if you're planning to come Sunday.
And we know that the guidelines are expected to change this week.
Yes.
The new guidelines are to come out. And will probably advance our ability to have more people here. So we'll play it by ear. Maybe this Sunday looks the same, but maybe the following Sunday will be different. We'll let you know. We'll be glad to get that information out to you as quickly as we can.
And one thing, we're kind of just trying to take one step at a time. Our plan is, again, all through the month of June to continue to have a 9 a.m. and a 10:30 service. And no Sunday school, no other services. But just kind of take one step at a time and just see what the CDC recommends. And, going forward, things could change. We just got to wait and see what we need to do.
And you need to know that we're working hard to make sure you're safe while you're here. We have industrial sanitizers that after service, the pews and the chairs are sprayed down.
Yeah. Within
10 seconds, 99.99% of all germs are dead. And bathrooms, when one person goes in, as soon as they come out, it's cleaned, sanitized. So we're taking some pretty big steps to make sure that you're safe while you're here. So be comfortable in coming. Know that we're doing everything we can.
That Randy Ellis, now he was going to town.
He was doing a great
Sunday
job
with that backpack sprayer spraying the sanitation. But yeah, absolutely, this place was clean on Sunday before and afterwards. They cleaned it very well. So we appreciate all the volunteers. There's been a lot of people that were here taking temperatures, just making sure hands are sanitized, having masks available. We're trying to take every precautionary step we can.
Yeah, and the temperature, just one thing to note, it never touches you.
Right.
It's pretty neat the way it works. I wish they'd had that when we were kids, although that would have been hard to manipulate and get out of school.
That's true.
But it just shines a light on your forehead and tells what your temperature is. It's pretty much instantaneous. So, and it was a blessing to see so many people here serving.
Absolutely. Yeah, we had approximately about 20 to 25 both services that were here serving between the tech team and people in the foyer checking everything, and then you got all the people that are involved in music. It really was, outstanding kind of effort of a lot of people to make our services possible on Sunday.
Absolutely. Well, let's jump into our study. Today we hope to make it through at least verses 3 and 4.
Yeah, I was going to say, we probably don't need to say we're going too far because Monday only got us 2 verses, so maybe we can at least cover 2. We'll see if we can get more than that, but at least verses 3 and 4. You want me to read those verses again?
Yeah, please
Okay,
do.
let me read verses 3 and 4. And again, we're in Proverbs chapter 11. So if you're following along, I encourage you to look. I'm reading out the ESV Bible. It says, "The integrity of the upright guides them, but the crookedness of the treacherous destroys them. Riches do not profit in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivers from death."
I love verse 3. The integrity of the upright guides them. Now, this isn't talking about someone who in an instant or in an occasion has integrity, but someone who has a lifestyle of integrity.
Right.
They live a righteous way. They live in a way that pleases God. And therefore, the consistency of their life is the model of what's going to guide them. It's where they're going to go.
Right.
It doesn't make a difference if the doing the right thing costs them. It doesn't matter if it's going to be potentially physically harmful to them if they do the right thing, maybe financially harmful. It doesn't matter because they've trained themselves. It's been ingrained in themselves to do the right thing. And so therefore, regardless of the consequences, they're going to do the right thing.
Absolutely. When I think of integrity, I think of, somebody that's just trustworthy, that doesn't have all this shame and secrets and baggage that they're trying to hide. They're trying to put on this face, but realistically, there's all this other stuff. It's somebody they live what you see in public is what you also see in their private life. And in a lot of ways, integrity really is defined by what we do in private. When nobody else is watching, how do you live your life? Are you honest? Because, we talked Monday about honesty and how God hates dishonesty. Integrity is something that should mark a believer in Christ. Somebody that, again, is not just like the Pharisees, for example. Somebody that looked great on the outside, but on the inside, their hearts were so far from God. And the people noticed that. And, we talked about this a little bit on Monday, but I think the lack of integrity in the way people have lived has hurt the church. It's hurt the way people view the church. And we need to be people of integrity. We need to be people that love other people, but really stand on what we say.
Mm-hmm. But also say that we love people, and then we really do.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, it's easy to say things. Mm-hmm. It's another thing to live it out.
Yeah. Instead of being this condemning, looking down our nose at other people, thinking we're better than them group of people that the world assumes we are,
right.
We need to be different. We need to live up to what we actually teach and say. I've had this thought in my mind, okay, so where does that originate? How do we develop a lifestyle of integrity? Certainly it comes from the Spirit of God living within us, the Word of God, but it's something that is indoctrinated in us from the time we're children. When we as parents, when we as grandparents begin to indoctrinate our children that we do what's right regardless, then that's something that becomes a consistency, a lifestyle for them as well. Now, they have the option as they grow up to leave that,
right,
or to cling to it.
It's interesting. I've done a lot of studies being in family ministry and stuff, but, one of the main reasons that children that become teenagers, that become adults, that have been raised in church leave the church is because of they see their families going to church, but they see what goes on in the home that is not consistent with what people are portraying in church. They see that it's just really, there's no integrity, is what I'm saying. And so when they get older, they're like, there's nothing to this. This is not real. This is a show. And I don't want any part of it. And it's sad. I mean, I'm not saying that's the only reason that kids walk away, but that is a major reason that kids... And so it's important that parents walk with integrity with their kids. And when they don't, I mean, those young eyes see that. Mm-hmm. And they're shaped by that. And so it's so critical that we live a trustworthy life, not just in public, but also in private.
Yeah, if we think we're fooling our children, we're really fooling ourselves because they know. They
Absolutely.
see through it. They understand what's really going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But we also see the opposite side. It even says it here, but the crookedness of the treacherous destroys them. So, all through the book of Proverbs, Solomon's kind of painted a picture of two extremes. You got the righteous and you got the fools, he says a lot of times. Here he's talking about people of integrity and the crookedness, the opposite extreme. People that walk crooked, people that say one thing and do another thing, they bring about treacherous things for their lives. It never ends well for them. It might, for a little time, seem to give them a gain, but eventually it brings terror and destruction to their lives.
Proverbs says there's a way that seems right, looks like the appropriate path, but the end thereof are the ways of death and destruction.
Right.
So that for the deceitful, those who are practicing treachery, who are practicing that which is deceitful, there is a devastating end. You mentioned this Monday, that we'll get to it Monday. We didn't, but now we're getting to it today. That it looks like it's positive, and yet the ultimate response is no, this is quite negative. Quite negative.
And we see that big time in this next verse, in verse 4.
Yes.
Riches do not profit in the day of wrath. They may profit a little bit now, temporarily, but in the day of wrath they profit none. But righteousness delivers from death.
I love it because, you know, we've been accustomed to thinking the paycheck is what saves the day. The 401k, the bank account, all of these things are what's going to deliver me from my problems. But ultimately, God has told us through these first 4 verses now, the person who doesn't walk with uprightness, the person who doesn't walk with integrity, he is painting himself into a corner that is going to be devastating, something he can't get out of. And here he says, it doesn't matter how much profit you have going into this process. If you've done it in a way that is displeasing to God, you're not going to be able to open up your billfold and pull out a few dollars and hand it to God and say, look the other way on this one.
Right.
It's not going to work. And when it comes time for him to bring about discipline in the life of a believer, or to bestow his wrath upon the unbelieving in the time of the end days, or whatever the case may be, whenever that may happen for an individual, our finances will do us absolutely no good.
Yeah, I mean, I thought about, riches do have benefits, but they also have great limitations. I mean, they have benefits. You can do things. If God's blessed you, it's not like that's a terrible thing, but what are you going to do with what He's blessed you? That's the key. But even having resources, it has limitations. In the day we die, I thought about what does it benefit we see in the Bible if you gain the whole world but yet lose your own soul? What does it profit a man? Nothing. And so, what God has blessed us with, we need to be good stewards of that. We need to be using it to build up His kingdom. It's not about building up our kingdom here on earth.
I see it regularly how people, some who have little, some who have a lot, have made it their mission to grow ministry at Mile Straight, either through our mission program or through our local outreaches. They've taken it upon themselves, not only to honor God with doing it His way, giving a tithe, but giving over and above to bless what's going on. What they've figured out is that they're not going to take that money with them.
Right.
But what's best then is then to invest it in something eternal.
It's so easy to lose proper perspective and think that this world is all there is. And I'm going to, protect myself and have all this money for myself and have these things, and to lose the real truth that we're only passing through here.
Yeah.
We're only here for a short time. And we're actually preparing to be with Jesus Christ forever. And really what God has blessed us with, we need to, first of all, show integrity, which we've seen in these earlier verses, but we also need to be wise stewards of what God has blessed us with, because in the end, riches do not profit in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivered from death, that we're going to be delivered and live with God forever because of righteousness, and that's by doing the things that God calls us to do, and that's think about others.
Yeah, how incredible. Well, once again, I think we're running out of time.
I think so.
let's draw it to a conclusion. Please go online and sign up for our services on Sunday. We're going to have another exciting day when we get back together, and we want you to be part of that. And anything else?
Just the Lord's Supper. Remember, tomorrow from 1 to 2, you can come by and get the elements. And if you're not able to do that, just please call the church. We'll work something else out.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us today. We love you, we appreciate you, and we're here for you. If you need us, please reach out to us. All right? Have a wonderful week.